Only when the last tree has been cut down, the last fish being caught, and the last stream poisoned, we realized we cannot eat money. There are two wolves fighting inside all of us. The first one is evil, the second one is good. Which wolf will win? The one you feed. When you were born, you cried, and the world rejoiced. Live your life so that when you die, the world cries and you rejoice. It is better to have less hunger in the mouth and more lightning in the hand. Truth is more valuable if it takes you a few years to find it. The tree with most leaves will not necessarily produce juicy fruit. Begin to weave and God will give the thread. A bird does not sing because it has an answer. It sings because it has a song. Even though you know 1,000 things, ask the man who knows one. Those who wish to sing always find a song. Turn your face toward the sun, and the shadows fall behind you. Some men go through a forest and see no firewood. It's not enough to learn how to ride. You must also learn how to fall. Hunger is felt by a slave, and hunger is felt by a king. The work praises the man. A mother understands what a child does not say. If you can walk, you can dance. If you can talk, you can sing. Cheese, wine, and friends must be old to be good. Do not judge your neighbor until you walk 2 moons in his moccasins. Walk lightly in the spring. Mother Earth is pregnant. If you can't live longer, live deeper. It takes a whole village to raise a child. Every beetle is a gazelle in the eyes of its mother. Just because the lizard nods his head doesn't mean he's in agreement. When 2 elephants fight, it is the grass that gets hurt. Once you carry your own water, you'll remember every drop. The bird who has eaten cannot fly with the bird that is hungry. A small house will hold 100 friends. A bird that flies off the earth and lands on an anthill is still on the ground. When a man moves away from nature, his heart becomes hard. If relatives help each other, what evil can hurt them? A family is like a forest. When you are outside, it is dense. When you are inside, you see that each tree has its place. Fall 7 times, stand up 8. Even from a foe, a man may learn wisdom. Don't be so in love that you can't tell when it's raining. A united family eats from the same plate. Other people's wisdom prevents the king from being called a fool. If you are filled with pride, then you will have no room for wisdom. Let your love be like the misty rain, coming softly but flooding the river. Not every sweet root gives birth to sweet grass. He who digs a grave for his enemy might as well be digging one for himself. He who does not know one thing knows another. However far a stream flows, it doesn't forget its origin. The wise man never takes a step too long for his leg. The wise create proverbs for fools to learn, not to repeat. A wise man fills his head before emptying his mouth. There is no death on lie, only a change of worlds. What is life? It is a flash of firefly in the night. It is a breath of a buffalo wine that winter time. It is as the little shadow that runs across the grass and loses itself in the sunset. If you heal the leg of a person, do not be surprised if they use it to run away. In the moment of crisis, the wise build bridges and the foolish build dams. One who causes others misfortune also teaches them wisdom. If you educate a man, you educate one person. If you educate a woman, you educate a whole family. Poverty is a noose that strangles humility and breeds disrespect for God and man. No person is born great. Great people become great when others are sleeping. One who loves the vase loves also what is inside. If you think you're too small to make a difference, try spending the night with a mosquito. Listen, or your tongue will make you deaf. If money were to be found up in the trees, most people would be married to monkeys. When you marry a monkey for his wealth, the money goes but the monkey remains. One day in the life of a wise man is worth a fool's entire life. A man who uses force is afraid of reasoning. A happy man marries the girl he loves. A happier man loves the girl he married. If you close your eyes to facts, you will learn through accidents. Don't let yesterday use up too much of today. Even as the archer loves the arrow that flies, so too he loves the bow that remains constant in his hands. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. A woman is a flower in a garden. Her husband is the fence around it. Coffee and love taste best when hot. The pen is mightier than the sword. If a man is as wise as a serpent, he can afford to be as harmless as a dove. It's better to fall from a tree and break your back than to fall in love and break your heart. One who marries for love alone will have bad days, but good nights. If there is no enemy within, the enemy outside can do no harm. If the full moon loves you, why worry about the stars? Knowledge is a garden. If it isn't cultivated, you can't harvest it. If anyone makes you laugh, it is not always because they love you. Brothers love each other when they are equally rich. Make my enemy brave and strong, so that if defeated, I will not be ashamed. He who earns calamity eats it with his family. Love for something makes a man blind and deaf. Remember that your children are not your own, but are lent to you by the Creator. A fool cannot untie the knot tied by a wise man. It is better to live as a lion for one day rather than 100 years as a sheep. The heart of the wise man lies quiet like limpid water. The earth is a beehive. We all enter by the same door. A child does not laugh at the ugliness of his mother. Tomorrow belongs to people who prepare for it today. Restless feet might walk you into a snake pit. Take only what you need and leave the land as you found it. Give advice. If people don't listen, let adversity teach them. The mother hen does not break its own eggs. Wood already touched by fire is not hard to set alight. Love, like rain, does not choose the grass on which it falls. A home without a woman is like a barn without cattle. A mother cannot give birth to something bigger than herself. Wisdom comes only when you stop looking for it and starts living the life the Creator intended for you. Beware of the man who does not talk and the dog that does not bark. Wisdom is not like money to be tied up and hidden. A fool has to say something. A wise person has something to say. In a family, if you have somebody who is troublesome, it's the family members who are more worried than the troublesome member. You know who you love, but you can't know who loves you. When you show the child the moon, it sees only your finger. There is nothing as eloquent as a rattlesnake's tail. A brave man dies but once, a coward many times. Home affairs are not talked about on the public square. Don't try to make someone hate the person he loves, for he will go on loving, but he will hate you. If I am in harmony with my family, that's success. Only a fool tests the depth of a river with no feet. When brothers fight to the death, a stranger inherits their father's estate. A husband with a good wife will never be on the road without supplies. When a bitter woman takes over the house, the family she rules is doomed. Parents give birth to the body of their children, but not always to their characters. The old woman looks after the child to grow its teeth, and the young one in turn looks after the old woman when she loses her teeth. A wise person doesn't fall down the same hill twice. The weakness of the enemy makes our strength. When one is in love, a mountaintop becomes a flat field. No matter how beautiful and well-crafted a coffin might look, it will not make anyone wish for death. Every kind of love is love, but self-love is supreme among them. Dine with a stranger, but save your love for your family. They're not dead who live in the hearts they leave behind. Knowledge without wisdom is like water in the sand. Wisdom is like a baobab tree. No one individual can embrace it. Cherish youth, but rust old age. To love someone who doesn't love you is like shaking a tree to make the dewdrops fall. If love is a sickness, patience is the remedy. It is hard to cure madness that originates in the family. By the time the fool has learned the game, the players have dispersed. There is no fool who is disowned by his family. We desire to bequeath two things to our children. The first one is roots. The other one is wings. It is less of a problem to be poor than to be dishonest. He may say that he loves you. Wait and see what he does for you. Do not treat your loved one like a swinging door. You are fond of it, but you push it back and forth. A family tie is like a tree. It can bend, but it cannot break. Our pleasures are shallow. Our sorrows are deep. A man who can't satisfy a woman is like a chef who can't create a delicious meal. Do not look where you feel. Look where you slipped. Don't think there are no crocodiles just because the water is calm. If you want to know the end, look at the beginning. A fish and bird may fall in love, but the two cannot build a home together. Seek wisdom, not knowledge. Knowledge is of the past. Wisdom is of the future. Confiding a secret to an unworthy person is like carrying grain in a bag with a hole. It is no longer good enough to cry peace. We must act peace, live peace, and live in peace. Ask questions from your heart and you will be answered from the heart. The quarrel of lovers is the renewal of love. One who plants grapes by the roadside and one who marries a pretty woman share the same problem.